Monday on NBC, 5 women, all victims of a Nazi's torture years ago, now all alone in their quest for justice and revenge.
This is a man who raped us.
The most fantastic murder mystery ever. Their husbands won't know. The police won't know. Even they won't know who commits the execution. Monday.
While all furnaces look the same on the outside, only the Lennox Pulse is significantly different on the inside. And this reliable economical difference can be simply explained by your Lennox dealer. Pulse combustion. No other furnace has it. Just like Lennox, your neighbors at Oler and Holzhauer are here to provide you with economical comfort.
Attaboy, Dave!
Whether your present furnace is in your basement, closet, or crawl space,
Northwest Services has a pulse and air conditioner for you.
This is a car's fuel injector, and fuel injectors are prone to clogging. Over 728,000 cars in Ohio have them, and the number keeps growing. That's why Ohio has developed its new high-octane premium unleaded gasoline, specially formulated to clean out the dirt and deposits that clog injectors, to restore power and performance. New Ohio Premium Unleaded, the gasoline for today's cars. All of them.
Hi, Toledo. I'm Lori Peterson, and I'm coming back to my favorite place on tour at Glengarry Country Club, Monday, July 14th for the Jamie Farr Celebrity Pro-Am.
Small Wonder, tonight at 7:30 on TV 13.
Jeff Roars, Napoleon.
Amy Berlin, Napoleon.
Dan McMaster, Napoleon.
Paul Miller, Napoleon.
Zach Smith, Bowling Green.
Craig Baker, Bowling Green. Dan Hansen, Bowling Green.
Ed Miller, Bowling Green.
Welcome to this week's edition of High School Quiz with your host, Frank Venner.
Thank you for being with us, and welcome to the second of 2 semifinal games here in the High School Quiz. Starting with 44 teams last fall, we now are down to 3, and we're to determine today, as you can see on the chart, in the semifinal game between Napoleon and Bowling Green, who will meet Sylvania Southview in the championship next week. Now, the rules are simple. We pay off a knowledge and quick response. Each of our players has a buzzer which activates a light. By pushing the buzzer and giving us a correct answer, the team will earn 20 points. If we get an incorrect answer, the question will be addressed to the opposing team. That team can pick up 10 points for a correct answer. We'll be playing 2 periods. The decision of our judges will be final. And for today's game, the judges are from Defiance High School, Judith Burton. From Sylvania Southview, Gail Forsee. So stand by. We hope you'll enjoy today's game, and we'll have the first question coming up after this.
This summer, bring your imagination to life at Geauga Lake.
Zestfully clean. Zestfully clean. You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
New Zest lathers you clean, then rinses you cleaner.
Do I look clean to you? Surprise! I'm not fully clean unless I'm zestfully clean. Soap leaves a sticky film on you that won't rinse away, but Zest rinses you fully clean.
Zestfully clean. You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
Now we are all set and raring to go with the first question in today's semifinal game between Bowling Green and Napoleon, and here it is. You may not be a sleuth, but you'll earn 20 points if you can tell me who created the character Sherlock Holmes. Jeff Roars.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is right, and you have 20 points. Hibernation is a winter phenomenon. For 20 points, what name is given to Paul Miller?
Estivation.
Estivation, the summer hibernation, and you have it for 20. 4 out of 5 on this question. 5 of the United States have capitals whose names begin with the letter A. Name 4 of them, and you have 15 seconds. This is Dan Hansen.
Okay, Augusta, Maine, Annapolis, Maryland, Atlanta, Georgia, and Austin, Texas.
That's it. And the one you left out is, Albany, New York, I guess? You have 20 points. He was uncharacteristically drunk on his inauguration day and berated Dan Hansen.
Ulysses S. Grant?
No, not correct to this one. Here's the rest of the question for your free 10-point guess, Napoleon. And berated the dignitaries of the nation. 7 weeks later, he gave up his office to assume an even greater one, thus causing even greater problems. Who was this 19th century vice president? 10 seconds. 10 seconds for 10 points. 5 seconds left. Dan McMaster.
Teddy Roosevelt.
How about Andrew Johnson? Will you believe that? That's who it was. In music, it's a division on the staff that divides it into measures. Jeff?
Bar line?
Yes, that's correct. Bar is the correct word. You have 20 points. 2 out of 3 now. Cryptozoology is the study of animals thought to be imaginary or extinct. You can earn your degree in cryptozoology for identifying the crypto creature known as the following. Remember, we need 2 out of 3. Number 1, Nessie. Number 2, the Yeti. Dan McMaster.
The first is the Loch Ness Monster. The second is the Abominable Snowman.
Yes, sir. 20 points on the scoreboard for Napoleon. A record-breaking $10 million was up for grabs in a series of 7 thoroughbred races on November 10 of 1984 at California's Hollywood Park. For 20 points, what name has been given to this new Super Bowl, Jeff Roars?
Breeders' Cup.
The Breeders' Cup is correct for 20. One may not touch it without previous purification. It is forbidden to hold it below the waist, and the Orthodox hold that it should never be translated into another language. For 20 points, what is this 7th century, Jeff?
The Koran.
The Koran is correct for 20 points. A 2-part question now. We need both answers. Ribonucleic acid, or RNA, has the function of seeing that the orders of DNA are carried out. There are 2 major types of RNA. One is instrumental in protein synthesis, the other in duplicating the genetic code. Name the 2 types. This is Paul Miller.
Recombinant and messenger RNA?
No, that would not be correct. A free 10-point guess now for Bowling Green. No guesses. Okay. Messenger is one. The other is transfer or adapter RNA. All right, for 20 points, in what category did Michael Jackson win a 1985 Grammy? Dan?
Best video?
Yes, best rock video, video being the key word, and you have it for 20 points. Lace One was the most highly rated mini-series of the 83-84 year. Its sequel fared only 16th in 84-85. Who wrote the book Lace? 10 seconds. Zach.
Judith Krantz.
No, incorrect. Free 10-point guess now for Napoleon. Dan?
Danielle Steele.
How about Shirley Conran? No points for that one. Here is a 2-parter. We need them both. What's in a name? Plenty, it seems, with the Nielsen ratings. I will give you the original name of 2 hit TV programs, and for 20 points, you give me their current names. There are 2 of them. Number 1, The Vintage Years on CBS. Number 2, Oil on ABC. Jeff Roars.
Falcon Crest is the first, and Dynasty would be the second.
That is correct for 20 points. Queen's Maud of Norway, Margaret of Sweden, Sophia of Greece, Tsarina Alexandra of Russia, and Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany were all first cousins. For 20 points, who was their common, Craig?
Queen Victoria.
Queen Victoria, that's correct. Their common grandmother. You have it for 20. Singing voices come in various ranges, including soprano, alto, tenor, and baritone. For 20 points, what brass musical instrument popularized, Amy?
The bass.
No, that you did say bass, did you not? Yeah. That is incorrect. Here's the rest, free 10-point guess for Bowling Green. What brass musical instrument popularized by Charlie Bird Parker also comes in soprano, alto, tenor, and baritone varieties? Craig.
The saxophone.
Yes, the saxophone's worth 10 points. A two-part question, we need them both. German and Russian forces invaded Poland in 1939, then divided their spoils. Although Germany and the USSR took most of the country, two other nations also received Polish territory. Name these two then independent nations. 10 seconds. This is Dan Hansen.
Estonia and Latvia.
No, not correct. Free 10-point guess, Paul Miller.
Latvia and Lithuania.
Boy, that's close. It's Czechoslovakia and Lithuania. No points for that one. His many successful works are better known than he is. His plays include No Time for Sergeants and Death Trap, while 3 of his novels have been turned into popular movies: Rosemary's Baby, The Stepford Wives, and The Boys from Brazil. Who is this American playwright and novelist? 10 seconds. Five seconds. The time is up. Ira Levin. Ira Levin. Mr. Sabroda of Indonesia may not be a household name, but he's the president of a very well-known international cartel. Name it. Jeff.
OPEC.
OPEC, or the Organization of Petroleum Countries. You're right. Here is a 3 out of 4 question. There are 4 countries that occupy more than 90% of the shores of the Red Sea. Name 3 of them. And I'll give you 15 seconds. This is Dan McMaster.
Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, and Egypt.
That would be 3 of them. The 4th is Sudan, and you have 20 points. Its name means empty hand, but it's become a serious Zach.
Kung Fu.
No, that is incorrect. Here's your 10-point guess question. It's become a serious and popular sport. What sport is this said to have originated on Okinawa?
Karate.
Karate is worth 10 points. The patron saint of Russia, Greece, and many European cities, he is also the special guardian of maidens, merchants, sailors, and children. Who, Jeff?
Peter.
No, incorrect. Here's the rest of it for you, Bowling Green. Who is this ever-popular 4th century bishop? For 10 points. Okay, Dan?
St. Augustine?
No, St. Nicholas. St. Nicholas is the answer. Here is a 2-part question. We need both answers. If the galloping ghost met the iron horse, this is Craig Baker.
Red Grange and Lou Gehrig.
That's correct. Red Grange and Lou Gehrig, 20 points. The word derives from the Latin for windpipe. It's evolved to a kind... This is Dan?
Oh, trachea.
No, that's not correct. Here's the rest of it for you, Napoleon. It's evolved to a kind of water spout projecting from a roof gutter to throw water clear of walls. In Gothic architecture, they were grotesque, further altering. Amy?
Gargoyle.
Gargoyle is correct for 10 points. In experiments and observations on electricity, he deduced the principle of conservation of electric charge. He also established that lightning is the same as static electricity. Name him. Ed.
Franklin.
Yes, Ben Franklin, 20 points. Now, how about pencil and paper, if you care to use them? Take the number of keys on a piano. Subtract from it the number of trombones in a hit song from the Music Man, then add the number of strings on a modern violin. And give me the answer. Dan?
16.
Yes, sir. 16. 20 points. And that's the intermission point in this game. We'll be back to check our score in just a moment.
The Riverside Foundation supports Channel 13's Quiz Bowl in its efforts to develop strong minds. The Riverside Foundation is also committed to wellness in our community through Riverside Health Group members like the Riverside Center for Health Promotion, dedicated to keeping mind and body fit. Riverside's 4 urgent care centers, providing professional health care in Toledo neighborhoods. Healthmark Pavilion, an outpatient surgery and services facility. Through these services and many more, the Riverside Health Group is treating Toledo in a healthy new way.
This is my mom and dad's own special ice cream. Homemade brand cherry cordial. Obviously an ice cream this loaded with dark chocolate slabs and cherries would be wasted on mere children. Nope, in this house, the cherry cordial is strictly for adults.
Hi, I'm home.
Cherry Cordial, a great adult ice cream from Homemade Brand.
Hello, Mommy.
Shamu show at SeaWorld. It will quite simply take your breath away.
Here is the score halfway through today's semifinal game. It is Napoleon High School 220, Bowling Green High School 110. And we're going to continue our game now with one slight rule change. That is, this time, if you push the buzzer and give us an incorrect answer, your team loses 10 points. The other rules are the same. So let's see what happens in round number 2. First question. It belongs to Joseph of Arimathea, who took it. This is Dan McMaster.
The Holy Grail?
The Holy Grail is correct for 20 points. It's now generally used as a term for independent voters. Once it signified the Republicans who voted for Democrat Grover Cleveland in the election of 1884. What's this odd term? 10 seconds. Dan.
Stalwarts?
No, that's incorrect. 10 off Napoleon. Free 10-point guess Bowling Green. Okay, Dan?
Mugwumps?
Yes, mugwumps is correct for 10 points. Here is a two-parter now. We need them both. Australia is by far the largest country lying totally below the equator. For 20 points, what two countries completely in the southern hemisphere are next in size? You may have 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Paul Miller.
Argentina and South Africa.
No, that is incorrect. A 10-point loss for Napoleon. Free 10-point guess Bowling Green. Dan?
Argentina and Zaire.
It's Argentina and Peru, if you would believe it. And there are no points. He earned the nickname Jack the Dripper in the 1940s for his technique of spattering paint on canvas, a technique he called action painting. For 20 points, who is this leading American abstract expressionist? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. It is Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock. Philo T. Farnsworth and Vladimir Zworykin are the two men most responsible for an invention used in 98% of all American homes. What is it? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. It is television. Television. Here is a two-parter. We need both answers. The main characters in The Brothers Karamazov are all named Karamazov. But how well do you know other Dostoevsky heroes? For 20 points, what is the surname of the principal character in the following? And there are two of them. Number 1, the surname of the principal character in Crime and Punishment. The second, the surname of the principal character in The Idiot. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. And the time is up. The first is Raskolnikov. The second is Mishkin. Mishkin, no points. He argued that the government would be justified in appropriating all rents, thus eliminating the need for other taxes. Who was this single tax economist and author of Progress and Poverty? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. Henry George, the answer. All right, 10 minus 7 equals 3. In this example of subtraction, the 3 is the remainder and the 7 is the subtrahend. What name is given to the 10? 10 seconds. Okay, Ed?
Subtractor?
No, not subtractor. 10 off for Bowling Green. Free 10-point guess for Napoleon. This is Amy.
The base?
No, it's called the minuend. The minuend. No points. Here is a two-parter now. We need both answers. What two books of the New Testament record the birth of Jesus? Jeff roars.
Luke and Matthew.
Luke and Matthew, correct, for 20 points. Taking its name from the Chinese mountain where it was first mined, it is a white clay-like mass of hydrous aluminum silicate from which porcelain is made. What is this useful mineral? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. This is Ed Miller.
Gypsum.
No, not gypsum. 10 off for Bowling Green. Napoleon, a free 10-pointer. Dan?
Silicon?
No, it's kaolin. Kaolin. No points. It didn't help him in the Battle of Waterloo, but for 20 points, what archaeological find was discovered, Dan?
The Rosetta Stone?
The Rosetta Stone, 20 points, Napoleon. Here is a two-part question. We need both answers. Only 2 elected U.S. presidents have served less than 1 year. Name them. Craig Baker.
William Henry Harrison and James Garfield.
That's right, Harrison and Garfield, 20 points, Bowling Green. Among his curious literary creations are a legless and armless hero who lives in a large jar, a blind chair-bound autocrat whose parents are kept in ash cans, and a couple of tramps who quarrel and contemplate suicide while waiting for Godot. This is Amy Berlin.
Samuel Beckett.
Samuel Beckett, correct for 20. The Bill of Exclusion was intended to keep him off the throne of England, but Dryden's brilliant satire, Absalom and Achitophel, helped kill that bill and ensure his royal succession. Who was the king? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. No time. James II is the answer. 3 out of 4 this time. World War I pitted the Allies against the Central Powers. For 20 points, name 3 of the 4 nations comprising the Central Powers. Craig Baker.
Turkey or the Ottoman Empire, Germany, and Austro-Hungary.
You've got it. Bulgaria is the other one. You have 20 points. His final work, Malvin, premiered in January of 1985 at New York's Avery Fisher Hall with Zubin Mehta conducting. For 20 points, what's the full name of this German composer of Electra, Salome, and Thus Spake Zarathustra? This is Craig Baker.
Richard Strauss.
That's correct for 20 points. This British chemist investigated the molecular complexity of pure liquids, was the discoverer of helium, and co-discoverer of neon, argon, krypton, and xenon. Who was this Nobel laureate? 10 seconds. This is Dan McMaster.
Rutherford?
No, not Rutherford. 10 off for Napoleon. Free 10-point guess, Bowling Green. It is Sir William Ramsay. Ramsay. This is a two-part question. We need both answers. The Beatles revolutionized the sound of music in the early 1960s. Millions of people can hear just 2 lines of a Beatles song and identify the tune. You'll earn 20 points for these. There are 2 of them. Number 1. Well, you think you lost your love. Well, I saw her yesterday. It's you she's thinking of, and she told me what to say. Number 2. Father Mackenzie writing the words of a sermon, Dan Hansen.
First one is She Loves You. The second one's Eleanor Rigby.
You've got it, and that's 20 points for Bowling Green. This 19th century English jurist worked ardently to improve the conditions of the poor, but is better remembered for his creation of the hero Tom Brown in Tom Brown's School Days and Tom Brown at Oxford. Name the author, 10 seconds. Five seconds. Time is up. Thomas Hughes is the answer. Gavrilo Princips has but one claim to fame or notoriety. Craig?
He shot Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo.
That's right. He fatally shot him in 1914, 20 points, Bowling Green. If you possessed only a single bill, and if that bill were the highest denomination in the U.S. still, Craig?
$10,000.
No, that would be incorrect. 10 off Bowling Green. The rest of the question. Still being printed, how much money would you have? And was it Amy? All right.
$100,000?
No, it's $100, believe it or not. $100. No points. It's used to show possession, to form a contraction, and for plurals, Dan?
An apostrophe.
Apostrophes right for 20 points. 2 out of 3 now. To some historians, they are the famous captains of industry. To others, they are the robber barons. Identify 2 out of 3 of these people. Number 1, the steel magnate who provided many free public libraries to America. Number 2, the oil man who learned how to eliminate Dan Hansen.
First one's Carnegie, second one's Rockefeller.
That's correct for 20 points. In the Spanish-American War, Theodore Roosevelt led the famous charge at the Battle of San Juan Hill. For 20 points, in what battle of the Civil War? This is Craig Baker.
Gettysburg.
That's correct for 20, the Battle of Gettysburg. Hans Christian Andersen wrote The Little Match Girl. A best-selling American author, like his characters, pulled himself up by his own bootstraps and wrote, for 20 points, Mark the Match Boy. Who was that? Mark the Match Boy. This is Amy Berlin.
Alger?
It was Horatio Alger, correct for 20. And that's the end of today's game, and we'll have the final score in just a moment.
This summer, bring your imagination to life at Geauga Lake.
When they're soaked in, penetrating, when they're protein stains, you need more power to cut through. The protein power of new Era Plus. This grape stain is made of protein, and protein gets out protein. Now Era has more power to cut through the ground-in dirt below. Nothing gets out every stain. But now there's new Era Plus, protein power to cut clean through.
In a very tight semifinal game, the final score is Napoleon High School 290, Bowling Green High School 250. And that means that it will be Napoleon against Sylvania Southview in the championship next week. We want to congratulate all of our contestants for the great job they did all year long. And we hope you'll join us for the finale next week. Now, in closing, let's have a big round of applause for all of today's contestants, and we'll see you next week.
All questions used in High School Quiz are researched and authenticated by the Magazine Editorial Research Department of Time Incorporated, publishers of Time, Sports Illustrated, Money, Discovery, People, and other publications in the College Bowl Library.